It is Country Viewpoint here on Flow FM, and we're heading to Colac next to find out what's going on there around the Otways and Colac itself down in beautiful Apollo Bay. Joining me on the line to help us go through it all is David McKenzie from the Colac Herald. David, how are you?
Well, thanks, Jason. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And the place for us to start today is 100% obvious. It's not every day a favourite son of a town gets to hoist a World Cup. Well, Colac's Aaron Finch had that honour recently.
Yeah, Aaron led Australia to the 2020 World Cup triumph in the final there. That's fantastic news. So Aaron Finch grew up in Colac, or just outside Colac, and he played for Colac West Cricket before he went on to bigger and better things. It's been a remarkable journey for him. It took him a while to get into the national teams, but now he is the 2020 captain. Fantastic news. Colac is extremely proud. Lots of people saying, well, we need a statue to him. Some people saying, well, we need one for Luke Hodge as well, because he's from Colac as well, and he's a legendary AFL player. So lots of great sporting talent, but everyone is absolutely thrilled with Aaron Finch's efforts. It's been a big year for Aaron because he has welcomed a baby this year, and as a result, he's going to take a little bit of time. He's stepping down as captain of the Melbourne Renegades in the Big Bash League, but he's staying on as captain of the Australian 2020 because he wants to defend that title, I think, in 2 years when Australia will host the 2020 towards the end of his career to have another World Cup victory. Now, Australia has never won the 2020 World Cup until now, so now we can safely claim that we are the best country for 2020 cricket, and thank you to Aaron Finch for leading Australia to that.
Absolutely. A star, a legend, will always be the first Australian skipper to lift that trophy. So, Aaron Finch, congratulations. Have a read of his story in the Colac Herald this week. Some good news for the construction industry too, down south and around your way. Some really interesting figures show that the construction industry is going exceptionally well right now.
The Victorian Building Authority has released its figures for the 2020-2021 financial year, and it shows a 54% jump in construction spending for the Colac Herald Shire. So that's the value of building permits that have been issued. So they've jumped up from 80 million last year to 123.9 million this year. So that's a huge jump. As I said, a 54% jump in the value of building activity. And most of that is domestic work, so people building homes. So 82.9 million of that is for people getting building permits for homes. That's 470 homes approved for the Colac Shire. Other building projects that have been going ahead during the year were a $14.9 million school campus at Clarendon College campus down at Yulong on the Great Ocean Road area. So that's a school from elsewhere in the state which is building a bush campus for kids from one of the year levels to experience that. We've also had a big Bunnings expansion to our Bunnings store, so that was another $9.5 million in spending. So yeah, big year for construction, and it looks like there's going to be a lot more to come. So that's certainly good news for the Colac construction industry and for the show of confidence for people wanting to invest that much in our region.
100%. Check that story out in the Colac Herald this week, along with a rundown of the vaccination rates. Now, of course, you've got to take these back to Monday, I think they are, but the reality is we don't really have to worry about them anyway, because around Colac, it looks as though the locals have done the job and there'll be no more figures.
No, we're at 95% double dose rate. So once you reach 95%, the government doesn't report it above that because it's for various reasons. So we're basically as high as you can get. So fantastic work for the Colac community to get their 2 doses. Those booster shots will be rolling out soon. And it's not just Colac, Otway, it's all the surrounding shires as well. The Greater Geelong, Corangamite, Surf Coast, they've all got double dose rates above 95%. So that is fantastic news. And with Victoria opening up and almost all of our restrictions lifting this weekend, having that high vaccination rate gives us confidence that we won't have that huge growth in hospitalisations that was feared before the vaccination rates got so high. So we're still getting about 1,000 cases in Victoria a day. Colac has about 10 active cases, but the hospitalisations are going down. So that is what you really have to keep an eye on. And it looks like that's going to continue to go down. So fantastic work from the community to be getting such a high vaccination rate.
Yes, indeed, and good to see life slowly returning to somewhat normal. I mean, the restrictions that you guys have in place right now are probably as lenient as they've been for nearly 2 years.
Yeah, most of the restrictions that remain are on people who aren't vaccinated. So that's 5% of our population here and about 10% of the state's population. The state vaccination rate is inching its way up, so we'll expect there'll be more people getting double vaccinated as well. But yeah, most of those restrictions are for people who aren't vaccinated. We still have to wear masks in retail settings, in healthcare settings and in public transport, but for most of us, we won't need to wear masks at work anymore, which is fantastic news for a lot of people who are getting a bit sick of their masks. There's no more density restrictions or number limits on people going into shops or restaurants or entertainment venues as long as everyone's vaccinated. So it's a lot more freedom, and dancing is back as well. There's dance floors are allowed. So amazing news.
There you go. Cut a rug this weekend there in Colac while you're having a read of the Colac Herald. You can get away with that now. Beautiful. Maybe you could cut a rug down at the Memorial Square, and there's a bit happening down there at the moment. Where do we want to start? Which end of the square do you want to start with this story?
Let's start with the centre of Memorial Square, where a new Christmas tree has gone up. So for people not familiar with Colac, Memorial Square is a big town square in the centre of town. It's a big park. It's got the War Memorial. It's got a playground and lots of open space and trees. And the Colac Shire Council has invested $43,000 in a big 7-metre outdoor Christmas tree with lights and baubles and everything. It's a big change for Colac because the council has, in previous years, faced a lot of criticism for the lack of Christmas cheer. So they've been saving up for a few years so that they can go all out with a big Christmas tree this year, and that is what has gone up this weekend. It looks fantastic. It's certainly going to catch a lot of attention as people drive past on the main street. They're hoping this Christmas tree will last for a few years. They've planted a pine tree in the square, which they hope will grow into the future Christmas tree, but they've got to wait for that to get big enough. So in the meantime, we've got this plastic electric Christmas tree, which is big. It's got a fence around it to keep it safe, but it certainly looks great, and a lot of people will be pretty happy with to actually have some Christmas decorations look really Christmassy this year.
Absolutely. We're going to come back to Christmas decorations a little bit later on, but that's in the middle of the square. Down another end of it, I believe you've got a new playground going in. Yeah,
so the council over the last few years has been planning this big playground to replace the old playground at Memorial Square. They've got $600,000. Most of that is from the federal and state governments. And that has arrived from Germany this week. It arrived at the port in Melbourne, and it's going to be put together over the coming weeks. It should be ready within 5 weeks. So by the end of the year, this big new playground, which has got inclusive elements such as a wheelchair-accessible carousel, sand play, musical instruments, a poppy-themed play fort because it is near the War Memorial, so it's got a poppy theme going through it. So lots of great play equipment for the kids to enjoy when that goes in over the coming weeks. I'm sure a lot of kids are eager to get onto this playground because it is going to be a lot bigger than the one that was previously there, and it's going to have a lot more in it. The old playground that was removed, Rotary is going to refurbish that and send it to the Philippines, where a poorer community will be able to have use of a playground that previously didn't have a playground. So good news all around for people there.
That is cool. You can check out that story, both of them, in the Colac Herald this week. And to finish off with, locals around Colac, Apollo Bay, the Otways need to get their Christmas lights out and organised now, and then they can enter the Colac Herald's Christmas tree lights or Christmas lights competition.
Yeah, we've got our entries opening next week for our Christmas lights competition. So people can enter now and have their lights up at the start of December so that they're up for when the judges go around. But that is going to be a big thing. We're encouraging people to get out there and to challenge previous year's winners because there are some amazing lights displays that go on in Colac every year. So there's prizes on offer, and we're hoping that a lot of people get in. And there'll also be a touring map so that people can know where the best lights are to go and see when they drive around at night.
That is another reason to get a copy of the Colac Herald this week. Make sure you do. And David, before we let you go, where can people across Colac and the Apollo Bay region and the Otways get a copy of your paper?
Well, you can drop into newsagents, corner stores, supermarkets, petrol stations all across Colac and the Otways and along the Great Ocean Road, or you can visit our website to subscribe to our digital flipbook edition.
colacherald.com.au. Check it out today. David, great catching up with you again, and I look forward to doing it again in a couple of weeks' time.
Thanks very much, Jason. Talk to you then.